Bottom of the hour, here are the top stories we're following on Studio B. Large sections of the nation getting hit with major winter weather. Just ahead, the travel forecast for you and whether you'll see snow alongside the New Year's Eve ball tonight. Well, the so-called death tax, it's about to go away for the first time in more than 9 decades, but it may not be gone for long or for good. That is raising some new legal questions about how much survivors might have to pay the government when a relative dies. Our legal panel will be breaking that down. And renowned medalist, the amazing Kreskin, will give us his amazing predictions for 2010, including the fate of Tiger Woods, who just got dropped, by the way, by another sponsor. Predictions for the new year coming up. You won't want to miss it. The United States is about to change a 95-year-old policy. It's such a big deal, it's even convincing some people to change their living wills. What you need to know coming up next. Plus, some surprising and encouraging economic news to end the year. Jobless claims are down again. Economists were expecting the number of people filing for first-time benefits to actually increase to about 460,000 last week, and instead, the number fell to 432,000. Some analysts say the results could be artificially low because of the holiday season and other factors. Still, the new number is generally seen as a good sign that the recovery is continuing, albeit slowly. Something the United States has had in place now for, well, almost a century will go away in a matter of hours. It's the estate tax. You've probably heard it referred to as the death tax. It's the money that Uncle Sam takes out of an inheritance when a wealthy person dies. Right now, the estate tax has a $3.5 million exemption per person, so it doesn't really affect most Americans. As of midnight, it's gone for 1 year, maybe. Turns out there's a lot of confusion about if and when the estate tax will be reinstated and what the numbers will look like if it is. Here now to help sort out the legal aspects of this, Jenna Panisi, a trial and business law attorney, and Kelly Saindon, who is a trial and family law attorney. Good to see you both. Janet, all right, so it disappears for 1 year beginning tomorrow. Will that invariably affect Americans who are facing end-of-life decisions?
It will affect a small number of people who certainly have estates that would otherwise be subject to the tax. It's also creating a great deal of havoc for more ordinary citizens because the way it's set up is on December 31, a year from now, if there hasn't been anything else that happens, the threshold against which estate taxes kick in is only $1 million.
Well, it may sound callous, though, but I mean, plugs are going to be pulled.
Well,
right?
There's a tax issue here that is sort of left open because the Senate did not do anything in terms of getting this job done. Plugging the hole, even temporarily, would have meant you could plan. Planning not just to avoid the taxes, but planning to pay the taxes that you would predictably owe.
Yeah.
And that's where the difficulty for, people across America really is lying.
All right. Now, Kelly, the Wall Street Journal had a pretty interesting article about this, and let me quote them from a story. Put it up on the screen. One wealthy, terminally ill real estate entrepreneur has told his doctors he is determined to live until the law changes. Quote, whenever he wakes up, says his lawyer, he says, what day is it? Is it January 1st yet? All right, so, Kelly, there's a tax. Tomorrow there isn't one for all of the year. And the day after that, of course, it goes from 0 to 55% tax for anybody with assets more than $1 million. It strikes me that there's got to be something legally wrong with that. I can't figure it out. Can you?
It seems that there's a lot legally wrong with that because all of the estates and trust plans that have been set up from previous laws are now in disarray because everyone thought that Congress and the Senate were going to come in and put something in place for this year. They didn't do it. So there's potentially going to be legally binding issues for when inheritance is passed throughout the next year, and then Congress comes up with something new and they try to apply it retroactively, everything's going to be in disarray. A lot of people aren't going to see their inheritances. A lot of people are changing the times that they are choosing to have plugs pulled for themselves or for family members. So there's a lot of issues, and there's issues with whether or not our delegates are doing their jobs.
Janet, could Congress retroactively this coming year reinstate the tax, and if so, would that be constitutional?
Well, that's what's going to compound the number and the complexity of the lawsuits, because, of course, Congress has already suggested that they're going to do it and they're going to create a new tax law retroactively. But they haven't laid the procedural groundwork that it seems like it's going to hit constitutional muster. And this is the debate that's taking place tonight. You know, because if tomorrow morning someone dies, the law that's in place tomorrow morning applies. And so when the Senate gets around to this, which they've said is going to be in March, and then they retroactively apply it,
I don't think
there's so many moving pieces. How do they retroactively take care of everything?
I don't think they could do that. You know, it just strikes so many people in America as kind of a punitive tax and an insidious tax, because in a way it's a triple tax. You get taxed when you earn it. Then whatever's left over, you try to save that and you invest it, and then you got to pay a capital gains tax, the second tax. And when you die, a third tax. I mean, it seems insane to a lot of people, but we'll leave it at that. I'm out of time. Janet Panisi, Kelly Saindon, thank you very much for being with us. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.